Ardeni, a man of undeniable charm, moved through the bustling streets of Paris with an air of quiet confidence. His presence was magnetic, drawing the attention of passers-by who couldn't help but be captivated by his aura. His smile was warm, his eyes crinkled at the corners as if sharing a secret joke. It was a smile that promised understanding and camaraderie, making everyone feel like they were in on something special. People gravitated towards him, drawn in by his easy laughter and seemingly genuine interest in their lives. He had a way of making each person feel like they were the most important in the room, a rare and treasured quality. Ardeni had a knack for making everyone feel seen, heard, understood. Whether it was a brief encounter or a long conversation, he left a lasting impression on those he met. It was a gift, some would say, this ability to connect with people on such a deep level. He could break down barriers and build bridges with just a few words and a sincere look. But like the City of Lights itself, which held both beauty and darkness, Ardeni harbored a secret, one that simmered beneath the surface of his charming facade. The night in Paris, with its shadows and hidden corners, mirrored the duality of his nature. Ardeni was a master manipulator, a puppeteer of emotions. He could pull the strings of people's hearts and minds with an expertise that was both impressive and unsettling. He understood the power of perception, the way a carefully crafted persona could be used to disarm and disengage. He could change his appearance, his demeanor, to fit any situation, any expectation. He knew that people often saw what they wanted to see, believed what they wanted to believe, especially when it came to someone as seemingly kind and empathetic as him. His facade was a mirror, reflecting back the desires and hopes of those around him. And Ardeni, with his calculated charm and carefully constructed lies, gave them exactly what they craved, a comforting illusion, a false sense of security. But beneath that illusion lay a truth that was far more complex and far less comforting. Ardeni's kindness, however, was a carefully crafted illusion, a tool used to disarm and manipulate. He preyed on the vulnerable, the lonely, the desperate. He would spin tales of personal misfortune, his voice thick with fabricated sadness, his eyes shimmering with expertly manufactured tears. He would offer help, support, friendship, always with a hidden agenda lurking beneath the surface. He targeted those who seemed lost, those who carried the weight of loneliness in their eyes. He would listen intently as they poured out their hearts, nodding sympathetically, offering words of comfort and encouragement. He would weave himself into their lives, becoming a confidant, a shoulder to cry on, a beacon of hope in their otherwise bleak existence. All the while, he would be gathering information, assessing their weaknesses, identifying opportunities to exploit their trust for his own personal gain. Ardeni's chosen profession was merely an extension of his elaborate con, a carefully crafted facade that masked his true intentions. He worked as a real estate agent, but not in the traditional sense. His job wasn't about helping people find their dream homes. Instead, he would steal them, orchestrating a series of deceptions to take ownership of properties that weren't his. Using his charm and carefully constructed lies, he would gain the trust of elderly homeowners, convincing them to sign over their properties to him under false pretenses. His methods were as insidious as they were effective. He would shower them with attention, offering to help with errands, accompanying them to doctor's appointments, even inviting them to dinner with his fictitious family. His acts of kindness were all part of the ruse. He would tell them stories of his own struggles, of how he had been cheated out of his inheritance, of how he was just trying to make an honest living. These tales were designed to tug at their heartstrings. He would play the role of the victim, the underdog, knowing that it would resonate with his targets, that it would make them more likely to let down their guard. His performance was flawless, a masterclass in manipulation. But Ardeni's deceit didn't stop there. He was a master of identity theft, using stolen social security numbers and forged documents to secure loans and credit cards in his victims' names. He would drain their bank accounts, leaving them penniless and drowning in debt, their credit scores irreparably damaged. And still, he would maintain his facade of kindness and concern. He would feign ignorance when confronted, expressing shock and disbelief that anyone could accuse him of such heinous acts. He would turn on the charm, playing the role of the wounded innocent, the victim of circumstance. And often, his victims would believe him. They would doubt their own memories, their own judgment, questioning how someone so seemingly kind and trustworthy could possibly be capable of such cruelty. Section 5. Whispers in the Wind. As Edeni's web of deceit grew, so too did the whispers about his true nature. People began to notice discrepancies in his stories, inconsistencies in his carefully constructed persona. The cracks in his facade were starting to show, and the truth, like a dark stain, was slowly starting to seep through. There were whispers in cafes, hushed conversations in marketplaces, concerned glances exchanged between neighbours. Suspicion, like a virus, began to spread through the community, infecting those who had once been so quick to embrace Edeni's charm. The warmth in their eyes cooled, replaced by a chilling suspicion. Section 6. The walls close in. Edeni, ever the astute observer, sensed the shift in the atmosphere. He noticed the suspicious glances, the hushed whispers, the way people seemed to stiffen in his presence. He knew that his time was running out, that the walls were closing in. He started to make plans, putting his affairs in order, preparing to disappear into the labyrinthine streets of Paris, to vanish without a trace, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and broken dreams. He had done it before, erasing himself from existence, slipping away like a phantom in the night. He was a master of reinvention, and he was confident that he could do it again. Section 7. Unmasking the Monster. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. One evening, as Edeni was making his escape, he was apprehended by the authorities. A group of his victims, emboldened by their shared experiences and determined to see justice served, had banded together and reported him to the police. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Forged documents, stolen identities, bank statements detailing years of fraudulent transactions. Edeni's carefully constructed world of lies crumbled around him, exposing him for the monster he truly was. His mask of kindness slipped, revealing the cold, calculating predator that lurked beneath the surface. Section 8. Justice prevails. The trial was swift, the verdict undeniable. Edeni was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to a lengthy prison term. The judge, in his closing statement, denounced Edeni's actions, calling him a parasite who preyed on the vulnerable, a wolf in sheep's clothing who used charm and deception as weapons. The courtroom, filled with his victims, erupted in applause. Tears of relief, of anger, of vindication streamed down their faces. Justice, though long overdue, had finally been served. Edeni, stripped of his freedom, his charm, his carefully constructed persona, was nothing more than a common criminal, destined to spend the rest of his days behind bars. Section 9. The Scars of Deception. The scars of Edeni's deception, however, ran deep. His victims, once so trusting, so quick to believe in the goodness of others, were left emotionally and financially devastated. They struggled to rebuild their lives, haunted by the memory of his betrayal, the pain of their shattered trust. The community, once so quick to embrace Edeni's warmth, was left reeling, forced to confront the uncomfortable truth that darkness could lurk beneath the most charming of facades. They learned a hard lesson about the dangers of blind trust, the importance of vigilance, the need to look beyond the surface and question everything. Section 10. A Cautionary Tale. Edeni's story is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that appearances can be deceiving. It serves as a powerful lesson that not everything is as it seems, and that we must look beyond the surface to understand the true nature of people. It is a story about the seductive power of charm, the ease with which we can be manipulated into believing what we want to believe, even when all evidence points to the contrary. The allure of a charming personality can often blind us to the underlying intentions, making us vulnerable to deceit. It is a story that urges us to be wary of those who seem too good to be true, to trust our instincts, to never ignore the red flags that flicker in the periphery of our vision. These subtle warnings are often our subconscious trying to protect us from potential harm. It is a story that reminds us that true kindness is not a performance, but a quiet act of generosity, a genuine desire to help others without expectation of reward or recognition. True kindness is often found in the small, unnoticed acts that come from the heart. It is a story that, while painful, serves as a vital reminder of the importance of discernment, the need for vigilance, and the enduring power of truth. In a world where deception can be rampant, the ability to discern truth from falsehood is an invaluable skill that can protect us from harm.